Hello. I have some of my training I did today recorded for you. Hopefully you can take something away from it. Some inspiration, some techniques, maybe to ruminate on your own training. Record your own training so you can have an extra set of eyes on what you're doing. So I really just went through some of the skills I wanted to get better at. The middle splits, the bridge, the stalder press, the full press handstand, and to work on some cardio, work capacity. So this was the morning. This kind of really set the tone for the day of training for me. Just work through the skills I wanted to do. My middle split has seen a lot of progress, as hopefully you guys have all seen too. I'm able to get the calves to the ground with a good foot placement, or I can have my feet on the ground, and I can have the hips in the right position to get the stretch. Hanging is very important, very basic human movement that does a lot of things. I've done a lot of work hanging from both hands, spent a lot of years doing that. There is a challenge from Ito Portao to hang 8 minutes a day total for 30 days. I've done that, and I think I moved past that. And this one-armed hang with a little bit of a stretch is really giving the biggest stimulus of my entire practice recently. It's really working the shoulders. It's a very painful stretch, working the shoulders and the lats, the back. You should try to build up yourself some two-armed hanging, and then maybe you can get into some single-armed hanging to really fortify the shoulders, the grip, and all that. I was trying to do a meat hook. The setup here wasn't really too good to do a meat hook because of these poles getting in the way on the side. But I kind of got into the meat hook position. But again, my feet got in there and I wasn't really confident to do it. Now I'm doing some burpees here. My goal of the burpees was to, train the legs and to build up the heart, the lungs, the work capacity. But fortunately or unfortunately, the limiting factor was my legs. My legs were jelly after each one of these sets. It's also good to realize how that there's no perfect way to do the exercise. You should strive to add variety and complex movement patterns in your routine to grow out the mind and the movement vocabulary that you have. I just did a bunch of different burpees in a more of a flow style. And I wasn't able to really train the lungs or the heart because my legs were so tired. Eventually, my legs were just jelly. I couldn't perform. So I don't really know how to train the work capacity, the lungs, because I know when I used to run, I could, I'd get such a burning sensation in the lungs and the heart that were the limiting factor, not my legs. But when it comes to burpees, it's the muscles. It's been kind of a trend with me recently that the muscles are the limiting factor, which it used to be the lungs and the heart, which is what I'm trying to train. I don't know if that's because my lungs and heart are so well adapted, which I don't think is the case. But I'm still kind of at a loss. But as you can see, the press is back, baby. I was very excited to do the handstand press. I think I will just do one whenever I'm feeling. I'm not going to do it every day because I remember I was doing it every day and I was able to build up to 2. And then after I did 2 in a row, it was gone for quite a while, for over 100 days, or about 100 days. So I will do it every other day and just try to work on a clean one. Stalder press. But here you're seeing the nighttime stretching. Best time to stretch is at night, because ideally when you're in bed, you won't be moving around all that much. If you'd like to leave a comment about any ideas for me to train my cardio or my heart, my aerobic systems, or just a question for a Q&A video I'm going to do here soon once I get a few more questions. Also, like the video, please. Subscribe if you're not already. When it comes to stretching, really build your own practice. Stretch what you want, stretch what aligns with your goals. Always be figuring out the why. Always know why you're training. And once you have a good why, the how is not really a problem. So here, a big improvement with my stretching is the pike position. I've been able to see some improvements, maybe not so visible on the camera, but my comfortability in the position and my understanding of how to do the pike position stretch is noticeable for me. So I'm really happy with that. Then I also just worked through some auxiliary stretches on the ground. The pancake. This right here, when you do to the sides, very good to stretch out the back, the lat muscles. And this is ideally to eventually push me forwards to a middle splits, an active middle splits, where I can do like the leg iron cross in between two objects, Jean-Claude Van Damme style. After this, I do some squat routine, which I'll be getting into shortly. And yeah, here's what I'm talking about, the pike position. Getting nice stretch throughout the hamstrings. I spent a lot of time building compression strength, but now I kind of want to work into some flexibility so I can more easily develop the compression strength further range of motion. So more mobility. It's been quite cold recently, so you might not see so much outside training. I'll still try to get out there. Once it starts snowing, I will be, in the morning, I'll just run around the house in my underwear. I don't know if I want to, maybe I'll just do some shorts. But normally I'd run around in my underwear in the cold to get some cold exposure. I've done a lot of Wim Hof method breathing, and he talks about cold exposure. Wim Hof is a very good start if you want to get into breathing exercises, breath work, cold exposure. He works he's a derivative of Tumo, which is a Tibetan style breath work, and he puts his own spin on it, puts it through the crucible of science, which is very good to look into. Here I'm doing some wrist stretches. If you're doing any power moves or things like that, stretch out the wrist, fortify them. Don't forget your ankles are the most commonly injured part of your body, one of the most weak parts of your body that you really need to develop. So work through it in all sorts of X version, E versions.